What's up, everyone? It's Tweek or Gavin.
I really don't like this. I don't. Go back to Gavin or Tweek. It really hurts to hear Tweek or Gavin. What's good?
Up, everyone?
It's okay.
Gavin or Tweek.
It's too lit. That sounds so much better. Oh my, Gavin or it's my pink. What's good? What's good? What's good?
What up? What up? It's Charles or Thorin. Mix it up, you know what I'm
We
saying?
threw the last name in there. Not the government, Charles. You got Matt or Haz. What's going on, everybody? We had, of course, Glitch Regen this weekend. Kameme making quite a wave through that bracket. Actually, a lot of players doing really well there. Light taking it down. So we got a lot to cover here with that MDVA Classic, the Glitch series. So first off, we were talking about this before we went live. The theme, 10 out of 10. Very easily a 10 out of 10 theme. The merch, super clean. Who doesn't like a good JRPGs? And they're so well represented in Smash between Hero, obviously Cloud, and Sephiroth. So, yeah, dude, I thought the theme was amazing. What? What'd you give me that look?
You didn't say Sora, the most important
anyway,
one.
all the most important ones.
Okay, buddy.
I covered all of them. That's every single one of them. But yeah, they crushed it with the theme. Like, the pictures with the Sephiroth skewering people was sick. Like, it was as always with Glitch, like, a main part of the reason you'd want to go is just because of like the ambiance, right, of the theme and like all that stuff. And we did see, a lot of different Cloud players, Sephiroth players there in attendance. So yeah, man, it was good stuff.
Haz is the biggest hater, bro.
Yeah, I am, dude. I am.
Oh, Cloud players,
hater.
Sephiroth players, and I'm like, what the? Sora,
Yeah, Sephiroth,
bro?
Cloud, and Hero, and that's it. No
You know
one else
how,
comes to mind.
Y'all have been to Glitch, right? You know how they have those like panel thingies on the wall, and it has like different characters. Like I think the Infinite one had like a bunch of Street Fighter characters, and the Konami Code one had like the Belmonts and stuff. They had all the Final Fantasy protagonists from 1 until 15 on the wall. It was really cool.
Wow.
Except they didn't have 12. I guess they might have been confused. Like, is it Vaughn? Is it? Sorry, I don't know if y'all are big in Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Van,
Balthier, right?
From Balthier, yeah.
Big
Oh, hold
Balthier.
on.
Yeah,
Hold
I
on.
know. I'm a hater with a purpose. Are you kidding me? I know all this stuff. I played pretty much every Final Fantasy.
It's justified hate.
It is. Kingdom Hearts is up there for sure too. Obviously, I know a lot about Kingdom Hearts. I know a lot.
So
Anyway.
basically, my goal for this podcast is to talk about how Sora is a good character.
True.
And I've known this from the beginning.
We've always
Hey, to be fair though, we missed on Sephiroth. We
We did miss.
I'm not done yet.
We don't always hit. We don't always hit on this podcast. We don't always hit.
So
but usually we do.
I think Sora is more than good. I think Sora is really good.
How good is really good? You got
maybe top tier.
It's as in what though?
As in
Top
what? Like
what?
Top 20,
Maybe top
15?
20.
Oh yeah, I'm down with that.
No.
Huh?
And Sora is better than Sephiroth, and always was.
Yeah.
I don't know about
Sora's better
always
than Sephiroth.
was.
I don't know about always was. I don't know about always
That was
was.
fast. It's only been a few minutes, and I already said what I wanted to say this week.
Yeah. End of the
And
episode. Thanks for joining
see
us.
you
All right,
later.
run the honey ad quick. We were talking about it. Obviously, we had our normal back and forth with Sora, and you were like, "Sora's good," and I'm like, "No, Sora sucks." And then you were like, "Sora's better than Sephiroth," and I was like, "Shit!" I was like, "I got nothing." Like normally, I have something like witty to say here. I was like, "I got nothing." Like you might just straight up be right this time. And I think a lot of that is just Sephiroth falling off, to be honest with you. More so, and Sora stocks are going up. I hate to say it, but they are. And Sephiroth stocks are going down. You're pretty much done with the character. Ned tweeted out after this weekend that he's done with Sephiroth. He's not wasting his time. Ken literally only knows how to hit back air and forward tilt. Like, he did. Bro, the thing with Ken Sephiroth, the thing that I like about Ultimate is we were talking about, I think it was Apollo Kage, maybe Leo too, maybe you as well, Gavin, but just players who use like the entire kit of a character, right? Like fully anything. Like you see like Apollo Kage or you or Leo or Light or anybody use like every single move in the kit to try to get a W. That's not the case with Ken Sephiroth, like at all. Like it just back airs and it just F tilts. There were no shadow flares. There were no mix up in it. He just played, which is fine because those are the best two tools in the kit for sure for that character. But at the same time, it's like, dude, I feel like there's so much more to be had with this character potentially. Maybe not though. Maybe that's it. I don't really know. But Sephiroth is certainly not in a good place right now in the meta. That's for sure.
I think one of the hardest things with Sephiroth is, like, from my experience when I played him, I would do like, some pretty creative stuff like in practice, but it's like you get rigid in tournament. You're so scared of dying early, and like you if you mess up, like, and it's so funny. I was streaming a couple days ago or something, just normal practice, and someone in my Twitch chat was talking about they just hated me. They were saying like how I'm carried or something like that. But what they said that I actually think applies here was they were talking about how, why would I ever trust Tweek's opinions? He like compared Sephiroth to Ganondorf once, which is, it sounds funny, but what I meant was I feel like in order to do some of the interesting things with Sephiroth, it requires more risk and some weird stuff and like some hard reads. And when I think of hard reads, like Ganondorf is the character that just comes to mind. So that's why I probably said that at the time. And that's why when you see in tournament, it's just, there's no risk. It is just fully like, stay away from me. I have a huge sword, and it makes it hard to get stocks consistently, and especially early. You're not going to get early stocks with this because you're not going to mix it up. You're not going to go for different moves in the kit. You're not going to go for a crazy edge guard. And it makes playing Sephiroth really stressful and difficult. And, while I agree with everything Has said, I also get it as someone who plays Sephiroth. When you get nervous, his moveset like gets smaller and smaller throughout the match.
True.
Like,
Yeah.
It's pretty terrifying.
Yeah, and I mean, again, those are his key moves. You could break down anyone and be like light, mashes down air, neutral air, and up smash, right? Like, there's ways to break it down. But truly, I feel like I don't know what the future of this character looks like, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't know. Ned's done. You're done, basically, for now. Well, until you change your mind next week or whatever, tomorrow, later today. And Ken, I don't know what he's, obviously I don't want to talk to Ken or anything, but I don't know what he's thinking, but this couldn't have been the result he was looking for. And not only that, but like, dude, comparing the two characters, it's interesting because Sora, damn it, I'm gonna have to compliment this damn character. He's so consistent. You can't get him off stage. Like, he does, obviously, he's not like the heaviest, obviously, he's like whatever, pretty light character. But dude, you can't contest him off stage. Like, you're not gonna cheese him, or you're not really able to cheese him, I don't think. It's hard, except for his weight. Yeah, well, like, how though? Like, Sonic Blade is so good.
I think he has consistency in other areas too. I think his damage output is really solid.
It's insane.
He has lots of confirms. He fights well at a lot of ranges, like with projectiles and stuff. He has good burst options. His dash attack is like Mario's, but like way better for two framing and just for like closing the gap.
And it crosses up shield like pretty far, so
yeah,
you can kind of use it like.
He's genuinely very solid, and that's why when he was releasing, I was saying he looks fun to play. Like, and he genuinely is. If you really go into it with an open mind, I guess maybe people expected something else, and that's why they think he's boring or don't enjoy him. Obviously, he can be really defensive and lame, so I get that. But because he's so well-rounded, I think he's really fun and really good. Like, his up air alone is one of the best up airs in the game.
Yeah.
Looking like corn up air.
It does it all. It's one of those up airs that is surprisingly, you don't see it often in Smash Ultimate. An up air that has that arch, that hits grounded opponents consistently and stuff like, you don't really see that as much. Cloud's got taken away. You don't see that as much.
The one that did it for me, where I was like, all right, this character's definitely better than I initially thought, was the Faraga confirms, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, that was like, and
you just grab people mid range, like after confirming it, like what?
Yeah, and I had seen that before, like on Twitter, and I was like, I don't really know how practical this is because Sora's so floaty, and like, who's gonna get hit by that? But dude, it happened. It happened a lot, actually. You got a lot of damage off those good. It's a good projectile. It's solid. Yeah.
Dash attack after.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know, man. We're definitely in a really interesting spot for this meta. Like, dude, we haven't even talked about Light, who won the tournament yet. You know what I mean? Like, we're obviously the main topic is going to be Sora and how that looked for Kamehameha.
Sora and Sephiroth.
Light was definitely my pick to win the whole bracket.
I mean,
and Light was my pick to win Summit 5.
Yep,
you know what I mean? And it was a close call, right? Light didn't end up taking it, but he was right there. I think Light is just if you want to win a tournament or if you want to be the best in the world or something, light is going to be like one of the main obstacles. Like light is in top 8, light is in grand finals, like light is winning against all these players, like light is just the player to beat a lot of the time.
Wow. That's funny because I was at Infinite. Holy crap, that was a year ago. I wasn't that though, but
I was gonna say you're not wrong.
but I was at Glitch region, and I was talking to Light, and I was like, you might be the second best player in the world right now.
Yeah.
I just flat out said it. I was like it's like Leo, and like we're not counting Spargo because Spargo's like gone and hasn't really been competing.
Retired.
And it's either
or like
Akola
temporary retire.
or you. It's one of you two. But like he's omega consistent.
Yeah.
Like he does not I don't think I've ever seen him get like upset by anyone outside of like the top 10. Like I think his worst loss is like Cosmos. Like that is that's a very good like worst loss to have. And he just beats people like, and he kind of sometimes he makes it look easy. Like
that's what I was saying. He cleans people up very often. Like if someone isn't ready, 3-0 and a handshake.
Yep, it's swift.
It's not pretty most of the time, which is very impressive and scary.
Oh no, I guess technically his worst loss is Aaron, which is still like another really good loss to have, right? Like,
and that's another tournament where top 3 performance. Like, Light is just always the person to beat, or like one of the very few that should be in that conversation.
It's interesting too, and obviously I know Charles has felt this more than any of us, is that initially with Light, it was like here or there he'd have an amazing tournament early on, right? But there were a lot of inconsistencies with the character Fox, and with like he just dies early. Oh, he gets edge. Oh, I've seen this one before, and then he just dies at 50, off stage, or 30 or 20. Like he just kept dying. But he has evolved for sure. Like he has just brought it to the beyond the next level with not just his recoveries have always been some of the best that we've seen in Ultimate for sure. Those have somehow gotten better, but he's also gotten more consistent at his confirms, finding kills so that he doesn't get cheesed, and even like just everything. Like he's just firing in all cylinders, man. I don't know how he did it, but he has improved in like basically every category, which is insane.
I think when it comes to like avoiding like dying early and stuff like that, I think one of the reasons this doesn't happen, and when it does happen, he has such a huge lead that it doesn't matter a lot of the time.
Yep.
Sometimes he'll be up 3 stocks to 1 and a couple unfortunate things will happen, but it doesn't matter. Like some of the lost game, like individual games he lost this weekend were like reverse 3 stocks. It's like, this is what you have to do to beat Light. And I think Aaron had to do similar things to beat Light too. Mm-hmm. Like, not only is it this hard and his character this oppressive, if you want to win a game, you have to win from like a huge deficit, and that's most likely what anyone would have to do, like just because of the nature of Fox and just how consistent Light is with it. And I haven't pieced that together until right now, like how often that's been happening the last few tournaments. But basically anyone that's taken games or come close to beating Light is like from a deficit, and it just makes sense, like if it's someone like this efficient and a character this oppressive.
And even when like he's behind sometimes, like he makes those comebacks, like especially if he brings it to last stock, like and you have him at like 120 and you're at 0, like if you get hit one time by the right hit, suddenly you're in full panic mode because you're probably taking 80, and then one more interaction, like a few lasers and a nair, you die. Like it's like one of those like really scary things to play around. Not to mention, Light is the fastest player on the planet, and I don't think it's close. Like I've played Cola, I've played Void, I've played you. Like I played Cosmos. It feels like Light is just playing so much faster than everybody else. And I want to say, oh, it's Fox, but like Roy's fast, Sheik's fast, like Diddy's not as fast, Mithra's fast, right? But like it just feels like he's just playing faster.
Yeah, but Fox is also a character that gets bang for your buck for that, right? Like the way I always thought about it is Light stuck with Fox from the very beginning. He didn't jump ship. He, day one was Fox. And obviously Fox has gotten changes not only to his actual move kit, like down air getting fixed was one of the biggest changes to Fox, because before you could well yeah, because it didn't work, right? Like you would down air and they would pop out. No, I'm serious. So it's like you would always so
Yeah.
against Fox and on all, like if you guys competed, you guys should know this. Like when you played against Fox, you always parried for nair because down air didn't work. So there was no parry mix up, right? So it's like, okay, I always parry nair and that's my parry timing. I never have to worry about down air because 90% of the time I pop out and he's negative on hit. I reversal Fox, and then that's that's not a wrap, but like it essentially took the move out of going for landing there, right? So that was a huge fix. Light on top of that innovated so much about the character. A lot of development Fox wise has gotten a lot better from the very beginning. Like everyone was just doing like Smash 4 illusions because you couldn't, like you can snap really low to the ledge. And if you watch any Fox player, like they'll do horizontal Firefox or illusions that are like, here's the ledge, and then they go this way and then they snap up, and it honestly makes it a lot harder to edge guard Fox. I think in this game he's one of the harder like versions of Fox to edge guard. I know I meme all the time and say if you can't edge guard Firefox you're trolling, but like Firefox is a lot harder to edge guard in this game, and it's stronger.
And it's a lot more punishing when you don't. Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. Before it's like, oh, I got burned, like whatever. Like I don't even have to tech the stage. Now it's like you're at 20, you didn't tech the stage, you're dead because you have no.
Yeah, and it does massive damage now.
It does incredible damage, right? So a lot of things, Light has gotten a lot better just from sticking with the character and learning like the nuances and getting more consistent getting back on stage. On top of that, he innovated forward air in neutral, which was like
True.
like it's so funny because when someone asks me like what's the like that's not that big of a difference, right? But at 0% Fox getting a forward air, especially if it's full hop, even short hop, you go into an up air usually, or you can go into another forward air, right? And then it puts him at like 20 to 30 damage. It's the perfect range for Fox to be at.
Everything to start comboing, yeah.
Yes, he always wants his opponent to be at 20 or 30. Fox at 0 is like a lot of his grounded move kit, like dash attack doesn't combo. You can't up tilt, it's negative on hit unless you're playing as a super fluid. Like a lot of his kit is shut down on the ground, so he's playing like an air to air game. On top of that, forward air cross up he's been doing, and he's just innovated so much about the character. And Fox is also a character that scales with how fast the player is, right? And Light just being one of the fastest players, and he stuck with Fox for so long. Now I feel like he's just getting rewarded. I feel like Light is a player that's scaling with his character, right?
Yeah.
Like Fox is a character that, even as of the last couple of months, I've been thinking, I'm like, dang, is Fox better than Wolf? I've always been a person that thinks Wolf is better than Fox, but it's like the better the player base gets, I think the better Fox gets, if that makes sense to you guys. You know what I mean? It's just a character that, like, if you hit now when Light's playing on point and hits every tech chase, he looks unstoppable, right?
Yeah.
But then when you look at like Grand Final Set 2 of last Summit, he wasn't hitting the tech chases. What happens when Fox doesn't hit every tech chase and up smashes you on reaction on the tech chase? Then he's in trouble, right? So it's like it's a character that you have to be very much so on point to get rewarded. But when you're on point, it doesn't feel like it's fair. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of character Fox is. You know what I mean? Like, oh, my opponent's not making mistakes. Jeez, like I really get put at a tech chase at like 80 or 90, and if he's just on point, I die. You know what I'm saying? Because he just reacts to every option, and he can also like throw out the jab if he has enough time to like OS the miss tech and yada yada. So yeah, I mean, Light's been incredibly like just consistent recently, but I do want to. I kind of like brought up his whole history and how he innovated the character too, because it's like years and years of hard work, right? And it's coming to fruition, and it's really sick to see that for him.
Well, and I think that's where the speed comes in too, because it's not just the speed of Fox or Light or whatever. It's his decision making. It's also natural. Exactly. Like he is so quick at up smashing the second he can, because he knows like if you whiff something in front of him, boom, up smash. Like it is always like when he's playing, you can see his thought process. He always has like plan A, like up smash on reaction when I can. Like that is just always there. Like he is just always thinking of that, and then he has layers beyond that. But I think even in one of the clips that we showed earlier, I think Kameme like hit an F tilt on shield or something. He just up smashed like lightning fast. It's because he always thinks to do that, because there have been times in the past where he hasn't done that, and it costs
Yeah.
him games or costs him stocks or costs him sets, because like Charles said, that's the character of Fox, and
He
it
cares
all
so much about those situations, and like as someone who plays with him and talks with him while we're playing, if he messes something like that up, he gets really upset with
Yep.
himself,
Yep.
and he works super hard to clean it up. And that's why he's really hard on himself while he's practicing. Like
Yep.
he'll think like, "Oh, I need to learn how to play this game again." And I'm like, "Wow, you're going to like that's a very intense way of describing warming
Yeah.
up." You know what I mean? Cuz he's playing fine, of course, but his standards are that high because I think he knows what he's capable of. He knows what Fox is capable of, and he knows if he does it right, then like it's just consistent. And when he messes up a tech chase, or if he messes up an out of shield punish or a ledge trap, like he like you can see it even in tournament. Like he like um really always wants to like perfect that. So
How much
Yeah.
how much of Glitch did y'all watch? I'm curious. Like
most of it from top
most
30
of
I,
it?
top
I watched a good
64.
amount.
How
top
well
eight,
how
honestly.
well do y'all think Light was playing?
On the final day, he was playing a lot better.
He did what he usually does, where he like scales. Like he gets a lot better the more he plays. But I did see like some of the day one sets, and it was some of the worst I've seen him play.
Yeah, we were talking all weekend. We were like, bro, because he was really tired, and he was talking about how he didn't really want to like be there because he just, he was just at Summit,
Yeah,
and he's like, bro,
The hardest
honestly,
tournament in Smash Ultimate history, by the way. Like players absolutely playing their hearts out, like their lives are on the line. So like I just need to put it in the context of just
Yeah.
how hard that tournament was and how
Yeah.
much effort and energy that was put in by the players. Even just and then stack on top traveling, stack on top that we got there like Tuesday night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's
It's
a lot going into that. So just definitely want to if you don't know, now you know.
yeah, he was just like, bro, I'm really tired. Like, I'm not playing too hot this weekend. And I was just watching him play, and I was like, honestly, you are making a lot of mistakes, but you're at this point, you're so good that it doesn't matter. Like, I think the first time I saw him really feel like he had to turn up was when he was down 2-1, because that was against Sonix was the first time he was down in a set. And like games 4 and 5 looked completely different. I was like, oh my gosh, like you actually were like, all right, it's time to buckle down, like really turn up and like get this W. And he did it, and he just came down, and he was like, oh, that was the first time I got pushed this weekend. And I was like, that's a crazy thing to say, but it's
yeah.
I mean, it's true. Like if you can win, like not having to play on point, and he was like really frustrated because he's like, I'm playing really bad, but also like I don't feel like I have to play that well, but he was still frustrated and being hard on himself. So it was really interesting to watch. Like it felt like everyone also was trying their heart out, and he was kind of just like playing.
He's
like,
cruising,
yeah.
He
Cruising.
when I saw him turn up was against PK Chris, because at one point, shout out to PK Chris getting top 8, by the way, winner's side. A lot of crazy results in the top 8, yeah, but good stuff to PK Chris. But there was one moment where Light, I think he lost game 2 or game 3, and the camera went back to him, and he was like, hitting himself on the side of the head, like trying to wake. Yeah, he does that shit. Like he was trying to wake up, and I think that's where it really started for the wake up call. And playing Sharp too. He played against Sharp really, really, really well earlier that day. But the thing with Chris is he parried. Chris was trying to recover right next to the ledge with a PK Thunder, and Light parried it and just down smashed and just killed him. Like while Ness was like floating right in front of the ledge. I was like, what? Like that's an option? Are you kidding me? Like, are you serious? Like that's when I was like, damn, he's awake right now. But obviously, like going into that, the real challenge for him, he was the 1C2, and I feel like with Light recently, we've seen him get a lot of seconds, a lot of thirds, Summit, PAX. Like, I was getting a little nervous that it would be one of those tournaments for him, especially when he went down against Sonix, who had maybe one of the most clutch game 5s I've ever seen in Smash history. I don't know if you guys watched that set against Kameme, but holy shit, if you haven't, at least you should watch the whole set just to do a service, but if you don't have an hour and a half to watch the whole set, then just watch. It was a long set, dude. They were both chilling, and they're both so good at it. Like, there's no, that's, obviously that's a joke on how long the set was, but trying to win, you're trying to win. And the last stock of game 5 in that set was so, that's the thing is like with long sets, Twitch chat, they're all bedge, like trying to sleep. And the thing with that is, it builds up to this one incredible moment though, which was really cool. Like, and I don't think there's anyone in the world, no offense, Gavin, better in that situation than Sonix. I really don't. Like, it's close. Don't get me wrong. Like, you're my guy still, but Sonix is, when he has someone like that, I'm like, he's gonna win. Like, he's down by 70. But he's gonna win. It's last stock. He's got 18 seconds to do it. He's down 50. Okay, yeah, he's got this. Like, and he did, and that's what he did. And he didn't even it didn't go straight to timeout. It basically did. But like, he won. Like, just flat out, he won. Like, that was incredible.
It was an incredible sequence for sure.
I felt like he was gonna do it, but I'm like, I have no idea how. Like, it's too late. He can't, and then he just did. I was like, what the fuck?
I mean, that's just part of his skills, right? Like, he's practiced those situations so much. Like, he goes to time in practice, right? So like, this is not, and he goes to time a lot in brackets. It's like, this is not new territory to him. He knows how to play the situations, but for a lot of people, it's new territory. So that's just like, there's a minute left. Do I play safe? Do I try to push the lead? What do I do? And Sonix like, all right, I'm just gonna see what you do, and I'll adjust accordingly in this minute that I have left. I don't know how he figures it out that quickly, but he's like, oh, okay, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Also,
that's what I appreciate about playing you more, Gavin, is that you will play and like play neutral so safe and like for such a long time. I don't even notice that it's been 5 minutes and only 2 stocks are gone or whatever. Like,
I'm noticing.
Damn it.
Well,
anyway,
it's time management, right? I think
that's how I play Smash. So
yeah,
it's like, I was playing Smash last night. Like, after I streamed practice, but I played like a handful of games last night too, just because I felt like playing. Because I even played some Yuzu with Cosmos. But I played some more Wi.
Dang, you installed Yuzu? That's crazy.
But I played some more Wi-Fi after that. So I played a lot yesterday, and I was playing, and one of the matches went to time, and they like posted like a screenshot of it going to time, and they're like, and this happens a lot in that group of people I practice with, and like, I was just thinking, like, you did it to yourself. Like, I like Marcus was saying, like, I'm gonna adjust to what is going on. If I'm playing light, I'm not. It's not gonna go to time.
Nope.
If I'm playing this particular match, like, there's a reason it went to time. And in this particular example, I had a lead the whole time, but their pacing didn't change. And I saw my win condition 5 minutes ago. You know what I mean? And like, I'm Diddy Kong. I'm not just gonna blow you up. Like, I wish I could just end the game here with my lead, but I'm fighting against Rosalina in this example, and like, this is the one way I could lose this. So it is what it is.
Yeah, time management is huge, and not a lot of players understand time management along with pacing. And I think players like yourself, Sonix, they really understand that. Most Sonic players understand this. To be fair, Sonic is probably one of the best characters at I don't want to say abusing, but like, Sonic can play both sides of the coin. He obviously plays the defensive side more, like, just better, right? Where it's like, oh, I have the lead, and you have to come in the spin dash. That's Sonic's like number one win con, but he also has the speed to just like go on offense. And Sonix is so good at noticing, like, oh, I only have a minute, or I only have 2 minutes. Like, that change of pace, he's in the winner's bracket against Kameme, where it was just like, okay, I only have this much time, but I have to close the gap in damage, or close the gap in, or get the stock, right? And even it was funny because I was like, is Sonic's up smash having a long animation going to screw Sonic's over? Like, that's how
almost
it almost
it looked so strange because it like simultaneously ended the game but also killed. It was so weird looking.
Dude, and I was wondering if we were gonna see, because you know how they kind of like fix that in Ultimate, where you don't get the star KO. That's what I was saying, because they kind of fixed that in Ultimate, right? Where
did they?
Yeah, they like
it's supposed to be that way, but I've definitely seen last stock situations go to star KO close. I don't know if it was close to the timer ending up, but it's not supposed to.
I think if the countdown is happening, don't quote me. Somebody in the comments knows this. I'm sure sure they will let us know.
I didn't know this.
If the timer is counting down, then it shouldn't star KO.
Which I kind of like, but I also think is kind of... I don't know how I feel about it, honestly, because there's so many iconic Smash moments where someone's tumbling into the background and you're like, are they gonna die before the timer ends? Like, what's gonna happen? I
Smash
love
is
that.
crazy, bro.
Nah,
It
what the
is,
heck? As
yeah.
a player, I hate
I
that.
kinda
I
would-
Well,
want.
yes, of course. Like, if that happened to one of you guys, I'd be like, well, this sucks, obviously. Like, this is terrible. Hey everyone, today's episode is sponsored by Honey, the easy way to save when shopping on your iPhone or computer. Now, I don't know about all of you, chat, but I do be shopping online all the time. The thing is, though, I always feel like I'm wasting money when I can't find a promo code when I'm ready to check out. But, thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. Honey is the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. Now, let me paint a little picture for you. Imagine you're shopping on one of your favorite sites. When you check out, the Honey button appears and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. Wait a few seconds as Honey searches for a coupon it can find for that site, and if Honey finds a working coupon, you'll watch the prices drop. So I used Honey earlier this week, right after recording this episode, to order my dog a bag of his favorite treats because he had just ran out. Now, I order these things all the time because he's such a good boy, and thanks to Honey, I was able to save $5 on my purchase. I'll be using Honey to save money when ordering these dog treats every time from here on out. It was just so easy to use. And did you know, Honey doesn't just work on desktop, it works on your iPhone too. Just activate it on Safari on your phone and save on the go. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this show. I'd never recommend something I don't use, so get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/tweek. That's joinhoney.com/tweek.
I kind of wanted to break down my thoughts on Sonic as a character because I feel like everyone knows I think really highly of the character, but I've never like gone into super detail on the show. I don't think so. I think Sonic is like top 5 in the game at worst. Like I think he has like best in the game potential, like game breakingly broken good. Like I genuinely believe that,
You've
and I
thought
always
this
have.
for a long time.
Yeah. And I think the first thing to start off with is like. Steve could be in contention, but I honestly don't even think so. I think Sonic's game plan is the best game plan in the game. Like it's maybe the second best game plan at worst because this has been like such a long thought of mine that like Steve wasn't always in the equation. So I just realized that, but I would say Sonic's is probably still better overall. Is because Sonic's game plan is going to trump whatever opponent he's against 99% of the time, I feel like. Like Sonic's game plan is never off the table, right? Because he always does that better than the opponent, no matter what. Like there isn't a character that does it better, and we were Charles was talking about something that I thought was really nice, like transitioning between offense and defense, right? And I think Sonic's tools do really, really well at that. Like spin dash, being completely safe on shield, being a kill confirm. Lots of damage, like crazy damage for Sonic's archetype, which is like hit and run. 2 kill throws, amazing recovery, and just seamlessly transitioning between offense and defense and getting damage on either way. Whether he's being aggressive or defensive, he'll still be chipping you out defensively. He will legit kill you below 100% consistently in every matchup. And that's why I think he's extremely overtuned. Just thinking of that as a concept, like imagine if Sheik grabbed you and like it was a kill throw, like up throw, so anywhere on the stage. Sonic does do that. Sonic
Some of
does
the best
not.
edge guarding in the game, where
Yeah,
you can
multi-hit
go low,
aerials.
spring up, and then
Yeah.
cover high. Like you can cover low. There's so little characters in the game that can cover low and high. Sonic can do both.
Multiple ways to kill off ledge trap, multiple kill throws, multiple kill confirms. Some are extremely early off of a completely safe move that transitions between this timeout and aggressive playstyle. So I think that character is insanely broken. And I think there's been a bunch of players throughout many Smash games that have shown that. But I think Sonic's level of discipline is really, really good at showing off why I think these things. For example, Ken is another really good Sonic, but I think like Ken's wall can be broken more often. I don't know how else to word it more often, but I think Sonic's is ready for almost anything.
I think
And
Sonic's
the
is
more
more
he's
well-rounded.
prepared in every matchups, it's just going to get harder too.
Like Sonic's has the offensive part down with Sonic the
Yeah,
character.
he has the
Like,
creativity and
I
stuff too.
I think Ken it Ken is more, when I think of Ken, I think I don't know. Like Ken I don't even want to say Ken's defense is better than Sonic's, because I think Sonic's defense is better than Ken's. Like
Yeah,
if I'm being real, I think Sonic's has the best defense and the best offense with the character. I know as of recent, like Ken's kind of been splitting his attention between, the two characters and stuff like that. But yeah, I just think Sonix has taken this character, and especially, I think his grind during quarantine really, paid a lot to this. He grew so much as a player, and then post quarantine, like, came out and just really refined the strategies with Sonic. And man, his offense and his defensive play is so good. And
yeah,
the thing is, he's so good at switching in between the two, and like knowing what matchups to do what. And even versus Kameme, right? There was so many times where Sonic's like locked Kameme out of his spells, because it's like, oh, you have Thundaga. Well, if you press that button, I will hit you. And he
Yep.
stayed
yeah,
at a range where he locked Kameme out of the other two spells, because Thunder or Thundaga can be used in neutral, but not against characters like Fox or Sonic. Those like
Right.
super dominant speedsters, like you cannot press that button and expect not to get hit.
Bro, as an aside, just real quick, Kameme using Faraga to clank with Sonic as he's
yeah,
spinning
and
in
then
and
actually
stopping
getting
him
punishes.
that was, again, like, just seeing a little more of this character Sora, I was like, wow, he definitely has some of these tools that can
Yeah,
be really, really
Bro,
important. So.
if Sora can like, there's not a lot of characters that Sonic has a hard time timing out,
yeah,
but it seemed like Sora or Sonics could not like get a full grasp on like holding the lead against Sora. Like sometimes he would have like a decent lead and he would just like hold it for the rest of the game, but a lot of times like it felt like Sonics could have the lead and then Kameme would like in the stock early or something like that, and he could not get the lead back. Like a lot of the games that Kameme won, if Kameme got like a 30% lead, it just felt like he won. Like it just felt like the game was over. Like, all right, Kameme's up. Like, Sonic has to figure out how to get through these spells, this giant lingering nair hitbox, this up air, this like it just felt like, wait, Sora's kind of OD. Like you can time out Sonic. Like that's just a crazy thing to think about. Like,
yeah. I think Sora's really good at holding a lead. That was like one of my favorite things about playing him in the small time I did. And I think um, if Sora has a big deficit, like it all kind of crumbles. But I think Sora's really good in an even scenario, or and especially a winning one. Like you get access to all those spells, and like they have to approach you, and like the lingering hitboxes, like you said. And I think Kameme did a really great job of balancing creative and basic Sora. And I
yep.
don't think in America we've seen that really well yet.
You got to have the Fundies first, obviously, right?
Because
Yes.
but we only saw Fundies, and that can only take you so far, especially like once you lose once you're in a stock deficit or something. Like a Fundie Sora isn't going to cut it. And I think Kameme found a great job in a tournament environment finding the realistic balance between optimization and just basic gameplay. And I think that's also why I was pretty excited for Sora as a character when I was using him, because compared to some of the other DLC, he felt like more of a normal character, but just fresh and new. A lot of these other DLC characters were just really gimmicky or really strange, but this felt like more all-rounded Smash, like Sword Fighter with some other stuff. And I think in a tournament environment, I think this kind of character can get the job done. And I think a lot of people are having a hard time figuring that out, but that's okay. I think Kameme did a great job though finding the balance, and it kind of reminds me of like what I've done with other characters in the past. Like for example with Diddy, he has a lot of crazy, insane stuff you wouldn't expect to see in a tournament, but then he also has just a basic like play like it's Smash 4 play style. And I think with any character you have to find that balance with them, and I think this was the best, at least in North America, like example we've seen of it with Sora.
Yeah, and it was interesting because I definitely could see some shades of that. Like, for like example, you at Summit, there were times where I was like, "Oh, that's practice Gavin. That's
Yes.
friendly Gavin coming out. Oh
Yeah.
no, the match is over." And then there were other times I was like, all right, here comes Nair forward air, like
Yeah.
like banana down throw back air, woo, like
Yeah.
no big damage, but it's like you could see that with Kameme where sometimes he would just go, I'm just gonna do Nair 1-2-3 and like take
Yes.
advantage, and then other times he was like, I'm gonna do Nair 1-2 IDJ Nair 1-2 into something, right? Or
Yeah.
even
Smash
sometimes
or whatever, yeah.
he had the resets, right, where he would do like fair 1-2. People know that there's like confirms out of certain things like fair 1-2 up B or something like that. And he would just do fair 1-2 and just stand there, and people were like air dodging. He would punish them for that. There was a lot of different like layers, because I think that's something that Leo said about people who play Kazuya, right? Like they're always looking for that, like, oh man, down throw electro wing off is like I'm gonna do my confirm my combo, like Luigi as well. Like I'm gonna do my confirm combo and just kill you, and that's it. But he was like, bro, when I play Kazuya, like I look for that, but also like I feel like there should be some creative resets in there where like this is where people like to air dodge. You don't have to perform the full execution test of like Electro Wing Office, blah blah blah. You could do like Electro Wing Office, Nair, another Electro Wing Office, know they're gonna air dodge and just forward smash them and kill them at 40, right? Like and I saw a lot of that with Kameme where I was like, at least he's not going for the full execution test. He's like, all right, I did this. I've been seeing them air dodge when I make
Yeah.
mistakes. When I've been going for the execution test and it's not hitting, I've been seeing them air dodge. So I'm gonna start building in resets, and that's something that was really cool to see.
But you only get to do that if you pass at least a couple execution tests. If I'm playing against the
Correct.
Sora and I'm like, yo, this guy's crusty. He just does fair 1-2-3, Nair 1-2-3. Like that's all this
Mm-hmm.
guy. I'm not gonna air dodge versus you. Are you joking me? You're a meme. Like I'm not doing that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You need to earn that air dodge,
100%.
right? And I know Meister even made a tweet saying that Kameme kept it pretty simple, and I like half agree with it and half don't, because there was IDJ follow-ups, and if you look
Yes.
at the set versus Ken, here's the thing. I'm just gonna break down real quick like what IDJ combos are good against what type of characters. So the Nair loops are good against floaties, and the fair loops are good against fast fallers.
Right.
So you'll see against when Kameme fought Ken, he was doing like IDJ fairs, right? Because they fall fast enough to the ground where you can loop the fairs or just like get confirms off, right? Like do a fair into a down tilt, into an up air, or what have you, right? But against the floaty characters, we actually saw like a Nair 1-2 into an IDJ Nair 1-2, because when you double jump with Sora, you actually go lower to the ground. He sinks a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually set up that same rising Nair, but it's like right to the ground, so he can up smash. And he actually did a couple of those where he had to do it to get the up smash. If he just tried to do Nair 1-2 and up smash, it wouldn't have worked. So you saw him going for a second rep with the IDJ to get the up smash, which is very
Yep.
important. And because it wasn't Twitter 0 to deaths or whatever, right? But it was still like, oh, I understand that I can go for like these different setups to set you up lower to get a KO, to get a up smash. Like there was a couple times where I saw him comboing into up smash, killing characters at like 98 or
Mm-hmm.
99 after the up smash connect, and they would die. Like that's how strong this move
Yeah.
is. So I don't think Sora necessarily needs the 0 to death stuff, but you do need at least the KO confirms. Like the kill
Right,
confirms,
right.
you absolutely need, and the IDJ kill confirms you absolutely need, and because you get that layer of conditioning, right?
Yeah.
It's funny because it reminds me a little bit of how Riddles beat Leo at Summit, because he wasn't doing Kazuya perfect first loops, whatever, like 0 to 200 and up smash and kill. He was cutting his combos short and going for Hell's Gate and setting up edge guards or setting up KOs that
Mhm.
way. So it's like technical stuff. Obviously, like finding it into your kit is incredible, and like as you grow as a player and as you have better synergy with your character, that should naturally happen. But sometimes it's just good enough, right, Charles? Like, and I think that's the point that you're getting at. Like, I mean, to be fair, Light can hit some crazy shit almost every day of the week, but most of his kills are Nair up smash. That's most of his kills. Like, it
Mhm.
just is. Or raw up smash. That's not fancy. That's not crazy, but it's how he sets up for that situation that really matters too, right? Like, it all adds up into
Yeah.
this, final play style that you have.
I
Yeah,
think-
you could even. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I think the reason there's a difference between this Sora gameplay and every other Sora gameplay we've seen outside of Japan, because you could see this kind of thing. Like Sora's been placing well in Japan since release, like this kind of placing. But I think the big deal about Kamehameha's gameplay that people might not be understanding, like Charles was saying, is actively removing and adding layers depending on how the opponent's dealing with Sora stuff. And I think some players might look at the game a bit too simple, if they, especially if they might not go to as many tournaments or something like that, and they might think, why didn't this happen when Sora was at this tournament, right? Like, why weren't they getting these up smashes? Why weren't they getting these early kills? And it's the biggest thing is because Kamehameha is actively adjusting the layers in his decision making, whether he wants to go for an IDJ or just finish the combo, based on what has been happening throughout the set. And it also just gauging the risk reward based on the amount of time left, based on the stock count, based on his own percentage. And that just comes with playing a lot of Smash Bros. Like gauging the risk reward and refreshing the situation throughout a whole bracket, and
a moment's notice, by the way.
Yes,
shit's hard. This isn't like you get to like take time and write an essay
and
on
that's
it. Like,
yeah, and that's something that's beautiful about Smash, but especially Advantage State in Smash is it's never, surprisingly, it could be a situation that has happened 1,000 times, but there's always like a slight difference to it, whether it's the percentage, a platform is somewhere, the stage, the matchup, like floatiness, fastball, like there's always a slight variance to like every scenario, especially when it comes down to like finishing a string or a combo a lot of the time. Some things are just guaranteed and that's fine, but in a lot of general Advantage State stuff, this is where like a lot of it comes down to like this player has just been playing Smash their whole life. And with Kamehameha, like you can see a lot of the beauty in that in any character he plays. But Kamehameha has been playing for a long time. Like Kamehameha was a competitive brawl player, and that's why I think a character like Sora can be interesting, because when a player like that plays them, they're well rounded enough to like be very adjustable.
Yeah, I just wanted to like, someone was saying, or they were saying like he wasn't using some of the IDJ stuff, but like he was doing IDJs and like
he was doing IDJ
really
stuff.
really creative scenarios. Like one big one is if he was ledge trapping, a lot of times he would just do jump near one, right? And sometimes it would catch him, sometimes it wouldn't. But I think when he started noticing specific timings, he would do jump and do double jump nair to stall the amount of time that the nair like stays in that spot, because Sora's double jump is so slow, like you said, Charles, and it puts you lower. But it also like makes it come out later because you're just thinking like, okay, double jump, I can wait for a little bit before I start rising. Okay, then I press nair. And if you hit it, then you're solo to the ground. That's how he was getting so many like nair force smashes at the ledge, because he would do jump and he was like, oh, I'm chilling, and do double jump nair. And I was like, oh, this is really creative. And that's not like a...
That's not a training mode setup.
Right, exactly. That's not a combo thing, right? That's just I'm aware of this situation working, and like I've played, like you said, I've played the character enough, I've experienced this enough to like really land these types of things.
Just a slight adjustment in a ledge trap scenario, which is going to happen in every matchup. Yep. And that's why it's so effective in a tournament setting. And that's what I really like about really good players playing a newish character, because they apply like ambiguous things, or it's a universal situation with a new character, and like a lot of these top players are really good at learning that kind of thing quickly. But if you're watching on YouTube, like if you look at some of this gameplay, a lot of this is just a generic bread and butter and just like up air juggles. And but then there's also like a sprinkle of creativity when the situation calls for it. And that's what I was really waiting for with Sora, because I do think really highly of this character. But yeah, that up air is like Kamehameha would play the Advantage State really grounded. He's not chasing people and like going crazy with all the resources, because Sora could do that, right? Like it might be a little riskier, but like you could go all the way out off stage. You could jump super high with your double jump. You have all these resources and like active hitboxes, like the side B. But sometimes most of the time, Kamehameha just stay super grounded, maybe try to frame trap, like claim center stage, just up air juggles. But I feel like he did a bit of everything, and that's what I appreciate the most.
Yeah, and it's a Sora's a
That
character
nair
that
into up air
scales.
follow up was like the go-to too as well, and I
Yeah.
like that up air is just such an MVP of a move. It is so good.
Yeah, being able to confirm into it. But yeah,
Yeah.
like you said, there was still IDJ confirms, right? Like we
Yes.
still saw them, and that instilled the fear. And again, this is a character that scales. You know, just because this character doesn't need to 0 to death you, this character could still 0 to
Mhm.
death you. Now, obviously, we're not going to see that within the first year or two, right? Like people still need to just figure out the character, but that's still on the table. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Dude,
So it's like it's not like an irrelevant factor. Like
Mhm.
this character still should be doing more damage, but yes, the player base, like top players need to pick up this character, or people that can do those combos need to get top player fundies. Then they can, you know what I'm saying? It's like this cycle. So
dude,
we'll see it in a year or two, and it
I
does
think,
matter.
dude, and I think it's a common misconception where people are like, let me lab out all the tech first, then learn how to play the game with this character, right? Where usually it should be the other way around. You shouldn't
Right.
learning the 0 to deaths and training mode and stuff, like that's fun. But so what? If you can't land a hit neutral, it doesn't matter. Like it
Fundies
should
always come
be
first.
exactly Fundies first for sure, which is the way Kamehameha's done it. And from here, and that's just how you build up from the character, right? Like, oh, I have a really good, fundamental level understanding of this character. Now I'll start getting into the crazy stuff. Like now I'll start getting into the crazy punish game and see how far I can really push it with this character. But having good results, getting some confidence with the character, and getting some good fundamentals under your feet, and understanding just basic punishes and stuff are way more important than any of that other stuff.
The thing,
Well,
like, what?
I was gonna say, well, there was like a 14-year-old Kazuya who like got top
Oh,
you know,
Wilds, yeah, 13.
Wilds, yeah, who
Yeah,
beat Chen. So
I was
shouts
talking
to
to
them.
him because I was like sitting next to him because he wanted to money match light, and I was like, "Bro, you're sick, but you look like an actual child." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm 13." I was like, "Gee,
Yeah.
I'm twice his age plus some." Like,
I
what's
think that's the
going
thing
on?
about Kazuya
Yeah.
though. Like with Sora, you have multiple routes to take. Fundies route, combo route, both. With Kazuya ain't gonna be a good character at all if you're not killing at 0.
It's
You
true.
don't have the
You
flexibility.
need
I don't
yes. I mean,
know.
depending on the
And
matchup.
even
I
if
don't
you do, it's a
know.
lot less than Sora.
I
Well,
still
that's
think
true.
you need
Sora's
the
a
Fundies,
more of a
though.
traditional character. Just
That's true.
active with
but-
foxes and swords. With Kazuya, you're telling me a Kazuya player.
A stray hit Kazuya.
If I played against a
straight
Kazuya player,
hit.
if I played against a Kazuya player right now, and they were just like, "Yeah, I'm pure Fundies, never labbed anything in my life," and they had to play against my Diddy Kong in a best of 5, would they
Okay,
win?
come on, bro. Like, I don't even know if Riddles is beating your Diddy Kong in a best of 5. Like, that's not fair.
But you know what? You don't have that option. You gotta kill people.
You
at
have
0.
to
Yeah,
hurt.
but that's when the character
That
gets really
is the
scary.
character.
But that's when he gets really scary.
But
Is when
Sora
you
can
have
be a
both.
bit of everything.
When Riddle starts
Yeah.
doing like a lot of up airs, like falling, like getting out of disadvantage,
True.
like playing, like when he starts doing all the shit that other Kazuyas don't do, that's when he's the
But
scariest.
that's the difference.
Right?
Sora is Fundies first, 0 to death second.
Right.
Kazuya will always be 0 to death first, Fundies second. I'm
Are
not
Zero
saying,
Death's not Fundies? I'm confused. No, I'm just kidding.
well, for Kazuya, I guess it is. But
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
There's a
that
reason
is.
why, like, the Kazuya tree like starts to branch out into something like just up airs, and it's because of the counterplay to like 0 to deaths and stuff.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah. It just
Yeah.
branches differently just because the character is so
what they
weird.
focus on, or what they
Yeah.
have, right? That's
Yeah.
basically Kazuya's a canon. Like that's it, basically. There's
Yeah.
well, but he does have a lot of tech with movement and like I don't know how you handle disadvantage and all
Yeah.
this other stuff. There is a lot to grow in terms, obviously, because I think you're right. People did just lab out they saw the 0 to death potential, and that's where most of the focus went. So same with
Yeah.
Steve though. Steve kind of got fleshed out in a similar way, where they're like, look at all this crazy shit. It's like, okay, how do we do
Yeah.
how do we do this in a
How are
match?
we gonna
though? Like,
land this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like,
Oh,
it
well,
kinda,
well,
yeah.
well. The rise of Sora. We knew it was coming
Oh
eventually.
my god, stop it.
And that's-
Dude,
Day
I'm
one.
I'm
That's
serious.
why in
Day
like
one of Sora.
category, it's like
Was-
Aegis and Sora, and then the other one's like Steve. Like Steve and Kazuya
Steve
are always
Kazuya,
talked
yeah.
about at the same time because of how they branched out upon release. Like with Pyramithra, if I played Pyramithra without ever playing them before in my life, or like and only visually seeing their moveset or something, and I picked them up, it would make sense. Like I would be good with them, right? Like I don't even want to sound arrogant. Like I would know what I'm doing. But if you told me to play Steve and I had no prior knowledge, or even if I did, it would look terrible. I
Yep.
would not enjoy it at all, and it would not go well. And that's because of like their starting point as a competitive character. Like, and that's why, you know, Steve is just getting better. But at the same time, Aegis and Sora could also get better, just in a completely opposite way.
Dude, the one of the funniest things, the only reason recently, like when I started picking up Sora a couple weeks ago, you know why? This is gonna sound really dumb. I saw a Sonic Blade hit from the ledge, and they did 1, 2, 3, and it put them off stage. And I was just like, that
How much
reversal-
damage do all 3 hits do?
I think it's 17.
That move is stupid.
That's a lot.
I've always felt dumb. 17, you said?
I think so. But I saw it reversal and put them off stage, and I was like, wait, you just got like a pure advantage state from ledge for doing like literally nothing. You press
A
side
burst
B.
option, yeah.
Yeah. And
With
then
like
I was
so much
like,
mix.
and then I like looked at Sora again, and I was like, that happens every time he hits you. Like no matter what it is, he like gets pure advantage state.
Like, I think his damage output is really good from straight hits.
Yeah, like his
like
forward
just
is
the
like
up airs, like
19.
we talked about. Yes, the neutral air and forward air multi hits. I talked about this before the character was actually playable. I was saying a big key factor here is going to be how much damage these do, and they do like 16 to like 19 damage.
Yeah, they do.
So,
he has cloud numbers for damage output.
And it sounds like you're getting hit by the most pitiful thing in the world. But that was one of the biggest things.
Because you are.
Oh, okay,
it sounds like it. But
Bind it up.
when I played this character on day one, I was like, how much damage am I doing right now off of like the most like raw straight hit kind of thing? And like I have faith in that kind of thing. I do. Especially with how much comes after that.
Yep, because his ledge trapping is really good. Like
that dash attack, bro.
Dash attack. You can't hold ledge. Dash attack, forward tilt. They'll both just smack you off the ledge. Then you like have to get up. If he jumps, like he can literally, if he sees you roll, he can just nair and fall on reaction. If he sees you jump or neutral get up, he just nairs on like most of his ledge trapping is there, but yeah,
solid
like,
out of shield option, solid confirm, like
act out of it.
No, but hey, you know, no one knows the matchup, guys.
Also
right? That's why
true.
Sora gets results. And I remember that being the main argument for when Zachary won a tournament with Sora on release, which that I obviously get. But I mean, how long are we gonna say this for?
When's the last time anyone played a good Sora? What the heck?
Well,
okay, buddy.
Kameme gets
Steve
consistent
got away with this
results.
for months.
Kameme
Steve
gets
got away with
consistent
this.
results in Japan, and Japan has to fight him all the time. So
and you
I
gotta
don't,
figure like
I'm so annoyed about hearing that. Maybe you can say that here or like say that I glitch because American players don't have much.
Yes.
But like so that's kind of but again, Kameme gets results in Japan and they play him all the time. So it's like, well, and Japan is arguably the best region right now. I think that's another thing to mention. Light winning this.
Arguably.
Well, right. But I mean, Light winning this is obviously a big deal. Obviously not all the big hitters for Japan were there, but at least America got one dub, man. It's been a while. We've been starving on these dubs. Japan's been taking all of them. So I mean that's like, nice to hear.
When I was talking about Light's like, you know, seconds and thirds that he's been getting a lot of recently, that I got nervous for that because it was the same thing lining up where it's like, dude, Japan takes down another tournament. What was it? It was 6 in a row. I think I read somewhere on Twitter that they were winning non-Japan tournaments. Yeah, dude, it's wild. It's wild out here.
So, shouts to Jackal getting 5th.
Oh, let's go.
Yes.
I'm very surprised Jude didn't beat Light. That was another thing. I was like, ooh, this is looking. The bracket was looking rough for Light because
I warmed him up.
Yeah, Jude. Oh, snap! Right.
Hey, let me pull a Haz real quick. I was playing him with Wolf, and he went up there, and then I was playing him with Sora, and then he played Kameme. I mean, I do what I can for real.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Right.
Tell him, Marcus. Tell him.
Talk to him. But one thing I do want to say about Sora is I do still think the character potentially top tier. The character is definitely worst case like upper high tier in my opinion. So I think the character worst case is like a top 30-ish character. I think the character does have potential to be top 20. But one thing I will say in like design wise that they did well is so that double jump we were talking about is incredibly good for offense, right? To set up certain things because it sets up your areas lower to the ground. We saw Kameme doing IDJ setups with Nair and Fair, right? But at the same vein, that thing is also his biggest weakness, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when Kamehameha had to fight Light, I was like,
GG's.
your lineup is just
Yeah.
it's so like that Light is
Yeah.
probably the worst player for Kamehameha to run to, like, period, in bracket, because of the character lineup Kamehameha has does not mesh well into Fox. I think Fox does well against Sora. Sora gets juggled. Any character that juggles really hard is going to do well versus Sora. Even a character like Sephiroth can like
Just
up throw up air, and it's a 50-50.
yeah, there's
And
just not a
now,
lot
so
of variables. Like
right,
someone that's
and
juggling you just has to worry about like less things
Right.
than the average character. Like that's
Yeah.
just
scary.
air dodge, because
Dude.
like Nair comes out, like, I don't know what the exact frame that is, but it starts up here,
It's
so
the
it doesn't.
fastest aerial though.
Nair is as fast as aerial at like maybe like 6 to 10ish. I'm just throwing out like general numbers, but it starts up and then it comes down. So your
I think it's
hitbox will
like
probably
8.
hit.
I'm gonna
Your
check.
hitbox will probably hit Sora before the bottom of his Nair comes out towards you, right?
Maybe
So
7.
you don't really have to worry about him swinging back at you, and you don't really have to worry about him double jumping out because it takes too long, right? So then it's like it's just a 50-50, and if you played Smash 4, there was a ton of 50-50s, but in Ultimate, 50-50s practically don't exist. Like they're not
Mm-hmm.
really a thing, right? So the fact that Sora inflicts 50-50s upon himself because of how his double jump works and how his aerials work and operate, because they start up like higher and then come down, that so he does definitely have some tough matchups. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Yeah, and Light plays Sora like a good amount, like probably his second most played character, maybe third, whatever. But
Right.
definitely a character he invested some time in and played at least at locals. Also, at his weekly, there's a good Mega Man as well. So like he definitely not only the matchup's good, but he knows what he's doing. And I do think as the meta grows and people get better against characters, I do think that was a factor here, just because of the environment, right? Like I don't know the last time Lights even played against a good Sora, or the last time any of those played. Zomba. When's the last time Zomba played against a good Sora? When
Bro,
Gavin went one a year ago,
okay.
maybe.
But honestly, I think Sora just beats Rob. Like I just think he.
Yeah.
Also that, yeah, that looked good. That did look
Yeah.
clean.
Well, and that's what I was like. It was kind of like I was noticing. I was like, I understand that Sora. I always knew that he had like some meta relevant matchups where he did really well. But as the weekend was going on, I was like, he does a lot better in more matchups than I think. Like I was
Agreed.
like, oh, Sonic's gonna roll him, and then I was watching it, and I was like, how does Sonic hit him? And what was really interesting is Kameme would like he only countered a very small amount of times against Spin Dash, but I was like, you can counter Spin Dash. It's not like other counters, like it'll hit him out of Spin Dash. So it's like an option that he could use like every now and then, and it was like, oh, Sonic can't just Spin Dash, so he has to like think about his Spin Dash a little more, and then he has to worry about the magic a little more, and he has to figure out these hitbox. Like maybe this isn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Now Fox, I mean, I knew that was gonna happen, but like I started seeing a
Yeah.
little more like relevancy in some of his matchups because he does well against Steve. I mean, we even saw Meister go Sora against Onan and take a game, right? So like we're seeing more meta relevant matchups that like Sora could do pretty well in. We don't know because the matchups aren't fleshed out yet, but there's potential there.
Ness Sora looked like a dumpster fire for Ness, by the way. That looked awful
Absolutely.
for Chris. There was just no way
Yeah.
around that one for sure. But dude,
Yeah, and
I
he
don't
beat
know.
Syrup as well.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, well, I
Yeah,
mean, what does
dude.
Ness do off stage against all those like active hitboxes, right? Like
And counter. And
And then there's like
counter,
5
too.
million 2 frames
I didn't
after
even
the
think of
edge
that.
guard attempt. So.
Yeah, exactly. It just looks like a night. Like, how do you even play neutral too? It looks so hard.
Yeah.
It's like the floatiness of Ness is like the same as Sora, but Sora's a sword. Like it just sucks, right?
DLC
Yeah.
Ness? No.
It was a pretty good tournament to watch though. We had
Yeah.
I gotta shout out my boy Squid Plumber. It's too lit.
Dude,
Oh, top eight.
same.
Top
We
eight.
are Belmonts are eating well the last couple weeks right
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Dom at Summit, so many good VODs, and then Squid Plumber went off too. So yeah, really good. I mean, top 8, good tournament like Glitch. It's a nice one right there. Shout out to, I've known about Squid. Obviously, I watch most Belmonts who play, and he plays a lot. So yeah, he's great. Obviously, the thing I like that he did that I'm totally stealing is he would tether to the ledge and then he'd drop it in up B and like push you away because you'd like inch closer to try to edge guard him. I thought that was really. I'd never seen anyone else do that. I was like, that's really smart. So stealing that. Good job, Squid. That was clean.
My
And
boy.
Jackal for getting a game W. I think that was his first set win in top 8, I think we talked about, Gavin.
Yeah.
And it was against Squid, and he had just lost a Dom a couple months ago, so that was looking like a questionable matchup for him, but he definitely
Yeah,
looks like
he's
a
gotten
better
top 8 a
handle
bunch
now.
of times, but sometimes it'll be through winner side, and he doesn't. So, like, I think this was a big step forward for him.
And that Zomba set was a heartbreaker, man. They have such good sets.
It's
That was a
always
great
that.
set.
It's always that close. It's kind of
Right.
silly at this point. But yeah, it was a great tournament, and I think that was a big step forward for Jackal going into like future top 8s. Shouts to Zomba too. Also another like just consistent like, oh yeah, Zomba's in top 8, of course. Like
Yeah.
always in top 8, kind of like
Dude.
light and stuff. And honestly, Jackal's always like a really consistent top finisher at a lot of these big tournaments too.
I gotta say, shout out to Jake, man. Hell of a loser's run. Losing
Yeah.
very early on day 1 or whatever you want to call it, day 2. What?
I see it against him like a lot.
Yeah. Oh wait, I meant to say no offense, Pink.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, that was a bounce back too, because. And I think one of his things as he grows as a player is just working around mental blocks like that, because he definitely seems to tilt quite a bit. But when he's playing well, he's playing amazing. Almost beat Kameme too, which would have changed the whole narrative of not just today's podcast, but the entire tournament that we saw unfold on Sunday. So very close set with Kameme in a matchup that may or may not be favorable for Sora. So yeah, it was good stuff to Jake. Happy to see him bounce back like that.
Yeah. I guess that about
was also a really good set, just like the last shoutouts to sets.
Which one?
Sharp
Kameme. That was such a good set, dude.
It was game 5.
Such
It was
a
a
good
really
set.
good set. The reverse. I don't want to. Well,
two broken
reverse
characters fighting, Sheik and Sora.
Before the set started, right? I was talking to Sharp. He was like, "I think I'm gonna go Joker." I said, "Don't do that." I said, "I think Sora does." I said, "I think Sora does pretty well against Joker." Now I don't know like matchup spread or whatever, but I think he does pretty well.
You had a feeling.
Your best bet is probably for you to go like Sheik, right? That game 1 started. I said, "Oh no." Oh
Cheek.
no, but he said he goes Joker against Unleashed, so I was like, I mean, if you feel comfortable, like go for it, but just know your best bet is probably Sheik. And the Sheik came out, and it was a good set.
It was a good set for sure. I did watch that one.
Almost top 8 for Sharp. That would have been lit.
Yeah.
Him and Ned very close yet again, and just falling short. And I think we're just going to see, I think Ned, Cloud PT, I think it's a winning combination, honestly. And I think
absolutely,
even with his time as Sephiroth, if he didn't get the results he wanted, I guarantee you he grew a lot as a player, and he's going to see some improvements in his placements if he starts going characters that are a little more consistent or can lend themselves to that. So
Ken will 100% bounce back as well, for sure.
I know. We didn't even say that. No top 8 for Ken, which is wild. So that was Jake prevented that from happening. So, man, crazy stuff.
Yeah, I wonder if Ken was like, I don't know if Ken played Sonic at all that
weekend. I didn't
see
him play Sonic at all.
But I think for the theme of the event, Ken was like, okay, I'm going to go Sephiroth. Maybe even in matchups where it was like, I maybe would have gone Sonic.
I think he did go. He did definitely go Sonic, but
against Greninja, against Goofy Goober.
Oh, okay. Hey, Goofy's lit. Man, my range is pretty good.
There you go. But I wonder, okay, so yeah, we did see the Sonic. So probably just, I feel like right now, Ken is primarily going Sephiroth, right? And
it's pretty even in most brackets. Honestly,
he did go mostly Sephiroth for this bracket, but yes, I think he's
other tournaments. It is pretty 50-50.
Yep.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll see a shift more towards like more Sonic and then Sephiroth for more matchups that are geared more towards Sephiroth, because I feel like Ken plays certain matchups where I'm like, ooh, man, like you're really Sephing it out here. Like Sephiroth against these characters it's pretty rough. So I mean, we'll see. I don't know how much faith Ken has in Sephiroth, but it's just crazy to me.
Pretty sure a lot,
bro. He never countered.
He didn't do anything with back air and forward tilt.
I didn't say that, but
I'm saying that. See?
Well, I mean,
it's a lot of what he does. That's a lot.
To be fair, like Tweek was saying earlier, I mean, as the matchups get harder, your moveset just gets more limited. And it's just crazy because like his signature move, Shadow Flare, I actually think is just not good. It's like just not a good move. Like you don't even get advantage state. I
think
get
his
like
go-to move, especially in the hard matchups, is just neutral air, but
right. I mean, Ken was daring too, but like, yeah, it's. I mean, we already talked about in the beginning how we, We were definitely capping about Sephiroth when he first came out, and then now it's so funny how we're like, yo, Sephiroth's top 5. Yo, Sephiroth is kind of trash though.
He's pretty good.
He's
He's
okay.
alright.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's like as good as Zero Suit.
Wait, what?
Whoa,
Yeah,
Zero
he's like as
Suit's
good as Zero
better.
Suit.
He's worse though.
Zero Suit's
He-
better.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
Zero
Suit's
Suit
better.
sucks.
I don't know.
bro.
She has some
Insane.
shit matchups, dude. Hold on.
Oh,
That's a
I
good
forgot
question.
about y'all. The timeout Zero
The
Suit.
timeout Zero Suit.
No, I'm not.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
with
yeah.
Marcus. I'm more
Not
with you than I am.
Zero
with
Suit has some
Sephiroth.
terrible matchups,
She
but I
has
don't think
dog
any of
shit.
them are as bad as Sephiroth's worst matchups. Sephiroth's worst matchups are really, really bad.
We gotta get Mars on the show for this.
All right,
one.
that about wraps it up.
I've had enough of this.
That was a good episode.
That was
We'll
great.
talk more about
Hey,
Zero Suit when
don't-
Mars comes on the show.
Don't forget, we'll be taking the show on the road to the big house. We'll include the link down there. If you donate or whatever, you can get a question asked. We can rate your Pokemon tier list. We're gonna do that again. Live Q&A on Friday afternoon before the big house. So it's in not this weekend, but the next one. And then what's the other thing that we had going on? I forget. We had something else going on. What was it? It was the big house. And
We did do a September Patreon episode if anyone is curious about that.
the Patreon's great. And also we did a bonus episode last week on Friday. Make sure you didn't miss that because we went over Summit stuff because we didn't have time in the week to record. So we did the Ball Pit episode at Summit, and then we did a regular Summit episode. Bonus free episode for everyone on Friday. So check that out too.
Yep.
We be doing episodes.
We are, dude. And this was 69?
68.
Oh, I was like, how do we miss the meme number? That's so.
We're
crazy.
getting there. Dude,
One more.
68 is
Four.
insane, though. What the hell?
Watching.
See ya.
See, yeah.
Bye-bye.